Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be upgrading the shoe rack and building our own. Our first step we're going to take is we're going to go ahead and clean up the area, get rid of all the dust, and we have to take measurements. Then we're going to go ahead and stop at our friendly neighborhood big box store and pick up the materials. Here we're just picking up a couple 1x2s for the frames and 3/4 inch boards that will act as our shelves. Go ahead and take your measurements. Each individual build will vary, but for reference, I'll go ahead and throw my measurements up on the screen. Once you're done, go ahead and start cutting up your materials. Make sure your workspace is clean and get to building. Right here, I'm cutting up the frame pieces as well as getting my shelf boards. Using my circular saw here, I am just cutting my shelf boards to size. And as you can see here in this clip, I am drilling and screwing in some deck screws at an angle. The reason for this is that I am creating my own pocket hole joinery. Instead of purchasing one of those Craig tools, I found a alternative method to mimic a pocket hole joint. So if I were to actually, drill and screw into the face grain of the piece that I'm going to be placing the shelf board on top of, that would not be a solid connection, and over time it would potentially fail. So with this method, I am connecting the shelf board placements with a good strong connection, and I've even added some wood glue. I want the tightest fit possible. And we're moving on to one of the most fun parts of woodworking. Yeah, you heard it right, sanding. So what I did there was I grabbed my number 2 pencil, went ahead and lightly marked each piece that I was planning on sanding as we prepare for our staining phase. And we're gonna go through each individual grit to make sure that the pores open up enough so that it can absorb the stain properly. Is we started off with 60 grit, moved our way up to 100, 180, and then to 240 grit sandpaper. And boy, let me tell you, doing the frame and the boards, this is probably the most time-consuming part of the entire project. Just wear your PPE, wear a mask. If you don't have any dust extraction, try not to inhale too much of that fine sawdust, especially since I'm doing this in an enclosed space. All right, quick intermission. Was going through some thought process on when I wanted to stain the actual project itself. So I've got everything sanded down now, and what has been taking so long is that I have to go through each piece to sand down this big project. I have to do pre-stain, I have to do the actual stain, and then I have to do the finish coat. I've got 4 boards and I've got 2 frames to do, and I was thinking about how I could do the entire piece without laying it on a surface and ruining the finish. And so what I'm going to attempt is scrap piece of wood. We are going to create little risers for the boards and the frame to lay on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my staining process and then place them on the risers off the floor so that it makes contact with framing nails. I have a bunch extra, and so what we're going to do is basically we're going to drill all the way through. I need to cut 24 to make the staining process go by a little bit quicker, and we can wrap up this project this weekend. All right, back to our project. Guys, I am in no way an expert in woodworking, but I am just excited to share a fun little project and our DIY journey as we continue learning through each individual process, and just having a good time building our skills and upgrading our home as we go through our life. So if you can take anything out of this, if you learned something, then I am just really glad to have helped and provided some of my own personal insights. It is time to prepare our staining surface. We're just going to go ahead and do this on the floor with a drop cloth that I purchased back when we first moved into the house. And as you can see here, we are starting with our pre-stain conditioner and using our DIY risers If you are creating a piece that you don't want any nicks or any damage to, I mean, these will leave a small hole, but fortunately it's just going to be a shoe rack that we are throwing in our garage. The small holes, you can really barely tell that they're there, and I placed them on the underside where no one is going to be looking at. After allowing the pre-stain conditioner to dry and wiping off the excess, we are moving on to the primary stain. And the stain color of choice is golden oak, which you may have seen in our last DIY project for our laundry room. It's a great solid color, very nice and natural looking. The first coat was a little bit too light for me. I went ahead and went in with a second coat, and as you can see here, it definitely makes the wood pop a little bit more. On our final stage of assembling our finished pieces together, I went ahead and recruited the assistance of my lovely wife. She made sure that everything was holding together and in place as I drilled the screws into the shelf boards from the frame. And now the project is completed, and we are now going to do the obligatory test fit. Will it clear our door? Stick around and find out. It didn't. We went ahead and shimmied and moved the freezer over a little bit, and it cleared just fine. So we are done. As you can see, I am sweating up a storm. It was probably the hottest week we've had all summer in Houston. It's, late August, and man, it was a satisfying feeling to finally complete this project. I did promise this to my wife a while ago, but have been putting it off, and am finally glad we got this in the garage. It looks so much more clean. The top coat looks very nice, and it's going to be very durable and last us a very, very, very long time. So I hope you guys learned something. I hope this video inspired you to go out there and build something on your own with your own two hands. Hope you enjoyed the video, y'all. Appreciate y'all checking in, and we will see you in the next video. All right, peace.